Hello, good morning, and welcome to another video. So this is going to be fun today, but before we get started with today's video, I just want to sit down and have a little conversation with you, okay? We're not yelling today, at least I'm going to try not to. We are going to talk about housing, finding a place for you to live. If you have children, I definitely want you to stay tuned. If you have children and you're single, so if you're a single mother, not saying that single fathers cannot watch this and cannot glean wisdom from this, but I'm talking directly to the single mothers. Okay, all right. If you are a single mother, I want you to listen on in. And when I say single mother, I mean you're single, like you're not married. And we are going to go into a few things into this video as we go into this video. But one of the things I want to say is, as I show you these things, as I tell you these examples, I am not giving you this information so that you can house a man. I am not giving you this information so that you can create space for your kids. And in addition to that, have somebody laying up in your bed. That is not why I'm giving you this information. And if you want to take the tips that I'm going to give for you today in this video, and you want to do that, I'm telling you that it's still not going to work out. Okay? So listen to me good. We're going to go today. I'm going to show you a few properties. I have 2 in mind, but if I get more, then we'll stop and get more. I am going to show you today how you go about finding a property that would suit your needs well online. So before you even I don't want you wasting your time, baby. I don't want you wasting your gas. You can see, I'm going to show you online how I look for properties that are best suited for this type of setup that we're going to talk about here today. Now you're going to say, Tanzania, some of y'all new here. You'll say, girl, how you think you qualify to tell us any of that? Some of you have heard this story before. For those of you who have not, before I got married, I had one son, okay? I had one child who lived with me, and I could not afford, even the apartment that we ended up getting, I could not afford it. I went ahead and chose to get this apartment because this apartment was not only close to my job, but close to daycare, close to food, and also it was in a good school district. It was the bottom tier in this school district that I could afford. There is no way. I know 2 bedrooms. It's 2 bedrooms. You want your child to have their own bedroom. But I could not afford 2 bedrooms in this complex. I didn't even look at the 2 bedroom because I know that I couldn't afford. I didn't know how the 1 bedroom was going to work out. And let me tell you, only by the grace of God did it actually work out. Because when I look back at the paychecks, me and my husband talk about the paychecks that I was receiving, then I'm not sure how a car note, car insurance, lights, water, daycare, and all that stuff, food came, because I wasn't approved for food stamps. They said I made too much money, girl, at making under $13 an hour. Imagine that. So this whole excuse pool of, things are so hard out here. Things have been hard. Things have been hard. And I'm going to tell you that some of you are just making things harder for yourself by doing some of the things that I talk about here in the beginning of this video, and that I talk about a lot, by housing a man. Okay? We're not continuing to live in sin. We're not going to continue to rebel against God and then wonder why things are not going well for our lives. But I'm talking to the woman who has chosen, you know what? I know the way that I've been living is wrong, and I want to do better. How can I do better? That's what this video is for, okay? So again, I said we're going to look at a property. We're going to look at 2 properties I have in mind. If you have more than 1 child, I'm going to show you the other property for that reason. But this first property that I'm going to show you, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it because I actually used to live there. And not only did I used to live there, but I now can see how even more could have fit into the 1 space. Okay, so at the time it was just me and my son, and then I allowed my sister and her son to come and live there. And like I said, I want to show you a few things. I want to encourage you. You don't need to have you know how hard it is to afford 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. And you can just check. If you have, let's say it's just you and your kids. Girl, you and 3 kids could get in 1 bedroom. It can happen. It can happen. I don't want you sitting around complaining about how hard things are. Things are hard because of some of your choices. But let's move on to making better choices so that things can get better. Let's do that. Let's not continue to do the same old things, hoping that something will change. Nothing is going to change if you continue to do the same things. Nothing is going to change if you continue to, wallow around in self-pity. Nothing is going to change. You continue to hang out with the same groups of friends. Nothing is going to change. You continue to even entertain the same type of men. Nothing will change. So you might have to go through some seasons that are very tough, very challenging because of some of the choices that you have made. But I'm telling you that it is possible to come out on the other side. You are listening. You are looking at and listening to a living testament to that. Okay? And I had to get myself together before I came here to talk to you today, because I realized, I have been on a 7-8 year long journey, and just now have I even stepped through the threshold and actually get the things off the table. You way back here and you can see there's a whole meal on the table, but you can't get to it. Every time you try to get to that meal on the table, you just keep tripping over stuff, your own bad choices, your own bad decisions. You just keep tripping over things. There's finally nothing in my way to trip over. So I'm not coming to you guys with these messages and with these videos simply to show you, oh, look how cute this little space is on the market. Just go out and I'm not, No, I'm talking to you from a space of girl, it might be hard, but you can push through that hard and you can make better choices for yourself and for these children, because a lot of the things that you're dealing with now is simply because of your bad choices. Let's take ownership. Let's repent. Let's take ownership and let's get things together. So let's go off to, let me get dressed and let's go off to this first property. All right, now this first property, because of how they have it set up here, we don't actually have to go and see it. So I would say this is one of the pluses of technology. They offer virtual tours. Now I'm looking at the properties here and I am just looking for, first off, 2 spaces that look like closets, because I know for a fact that I turned one of the spaces into a small loft. So as you can see, this apartment in particular actually has, like I said, a full virtual tour. So you can basically walk the apartment without actually going there. So this works out perfectly if you simply don't have the time. As you can see, this living room is huge. So yes, it is technically supposed to be a living room, but you see that space underneath the couch there? Honey, a bed can go there. You can set up some curtains. Okay. You can set up some curtains and make a little privacy nook there. You can also split up a part of this living room to where a part of it is living and the other part is a bedroom, depending on how many children you have. We're going to walk up the stairs here and see what else we have. So this one also so we already saw one patio downstairs. I can see 2 more outdoors here. So this is the perfect property. Like I said, I thought it was perfect when I lived here, and they've done something even better. This used to be my son's little loft. So I placed a bed in here. A bed can fit in here. And the reason why I did this is because over there, as you can see, there's another closet for me to put my clothes. So this did not used to be closed off. They have closed it off, and it can actually act as a bedroom as well. Okay, come on now. You see what I'm doing here? You see what I'm doing? So this is just a good way, like I said, of checking for properties. If the property have multiple closets and extra large closets, of course, I had a fan and stuff in there for him. You're going to have to make it, to where it's well ventilated. But this is the perfect property for the setup that I'm telling you about. All right, so as you can see, we didn't have to go and see that property. If I were to go and see, if I were you, if you were looking for that property, I would do the virtual tour, and then you can actually go in there and see it, because when you're looking at stuff online, you can't fully get how big the space is, but it would be the same if I were to go and show you the space. So we're going to use the virtual tour. I will say that apartment did not have a washer and dryer, but you know what I did, because you need to begin to think about where it is that you're trying to go and what it is that you have right now, and not all of these things oh, I don't have this and I don't have this and I don't have no. You know what I did? I bought a washer and dryer that was one of those portable washer and dryers. I can't think about how much it was. It wasn't incredibly expensive, because I wouldn't have been able to afford it if it was. I bought a washer and dryer, and I used to have to hang my clothes out on the little balcony. And one of the balconies now they have closed off, so you could just make that your little laundry room. Did you think that I want to be hand washing clothes and hanging them out? No, but it's what I had. And guess what I did? I went to work with clean clothes on. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? So I also don't want you to think if I go in this space, I have to have all these things set up. Know that it is possible for you to set things up. So if you don't have the money to just go right off and buy some curtains, Okay, wait on it. But a lot of you guys are getting back tax refunds, and you're thinking about going and build a better body. Okay, instead of getting yourself together. So I think this is the perfect time for me to make a video like this. So it doesn't have a washer and dryer hookup in there. I would not let not having a washer and dryer hookup stop me. However, I don't like to visit the laundromats, and you might be that way as well. Just look for, is there space for me to, there's always space for a portable washer and dryer. Is there space for me to like hang the clothes up, even if you have to hang them up, girl, in the house? Okay, right by the window. Like, come on now. Some of y'all so spoiled. You spoiled. Okay, so let's see if I can find another virtual tour that we'll look at. Let's see if the other property that I want to look at is virtual. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, so here we have the next property. They also had this one available for virtual. So here we are. You can see that there's a like divide in between these two walls. So this already gives us, you can separate these two rooms. That's probably what they had in mind when they put the wall there. One side could be like living and dining. But in our case, what we're trying to do, we want one side to be like a bedroom. And if you have more children, okay, maybe the younger ones in your room in the crib, maybe you have more children, maybe you have older children, this would be the perfect setup, okay? Yes, this apartment is a little bit more expensive, but we'll talk about that here in a second. The closet, I mean, it's a big enough closet where all of you guys' clothes can fit in there. If you have an issue like girl sharing the closet, like, oh, I got too much stuff, well, perhaps it's time for you to get rid of some of that stuff, okay? Because we're trying to do something here. This one, like I said, is the perfect space. The bathroom, this is a nice bathroom, but the bathroom doesn't really matter. As long as you have a place to shower and, you know, use the bathroom, everything is okay there. But I just really wanted to show you this space right here, like how they have it divided. This one also has a storage closet. So if you do have a little bit of extra things, they can go out here in storage. This is a very nice property. I mean, I could even make this work. So I don't want to hear nothing. Okay, nothing. So I didn't even have to leave the house, okay? And as you can see, it's still early in the morning. And here I am. I've already found some properties that I would go and take a look at, or you can just inquire about them. Now, I am going to show you. I just thought about it. As I said, I'm going to show you which apartments are easier to apply for. And let me talk about a few of these things before we get to that. Okay, I'm going to show you how to look for the apartments that's easier to apply for, because some of you are going to say, like, I got broken leases, such and such and so and so, and you are trying to block what the Lord can do, okay, by having that mindset. The first thing is, like I just said, I showed you two properties. I think you get the idea. I hope that you get the idea of what kind of properties you should be looking for. I did mention that one of those were a bit more expensive. Now, you can afford to have a place that's a bit more expensive if you don't have things like a car note, and like you can afford to spend a bit more if you have, like, you know, state assistance, food stamps. I'm not telling you to live on food stamps for the rest of your life. I'm saying if you have those things, you can afford to spend a bit more on housing. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to spend a little bit more on housing so that you can have yourself and your children in a safer environment. But you're going to have to cut out some of the other spending. Baby, I went nowhere. Okay, I didn't go nowhere. I didn't go anywhere except for work and church. And at some point in time, I think I scrounged together like a gym membership, which was like $20 a month or something like that. So I didn't go many places. And that gym membership, they had like a children's place in there. So then my son was able to go and play while I just had like myself a little moment away from work and things like that. But as far as, you know, going out to eat with your friends, stuff like that, baby, I couldn't afford to do none of that. And I didn't do any of that. So, yeah, you're gonna have to look at your budget in that way as far as where to live. Now, there are a lot more properties that, like, you could afford more space. You could get more space. Like, you could get a space that's probably in a lower income and not as nice of an area, and you can get more space. But you have to think to yourself, is that the best situation to place your children in? And that's why I'm showing you these smaller spaces. It's not that there are not apartments, because there are definitely places, especially, girl, here where I live, and of many places, many states have the same exact setup. There are definitely places that you could afford more space, but at what cost? And you're just going to have to decide what that cost will be. Okay. Another thing is finding a mother that's in the same situation. I don't know why people don't like to band together. Now, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, my sister and I let her come and stay with me. Now, she did not help me out, what could have happened, and I'm just being honest here, what could have happened was, instead of me paying for daycare, she could have just picked my son up from school, and then we could have worked it like that. I pray that you're able to find a mother or someone who's in a similar situation, and y'all could like be very wise and breaking up the bills. Honey, if you got to break up the bedroom, break up the bedroom. Like, come on, we got to get it together here. Some of you are just so entitled, and you're entitled without reasoning. Okay. Nobody owes us anything, but it would be so beautiful for you to be able to find a mother that is in the same situation that can help. I have found good roommates before. I want you to remain prayerful about that. Like I said, a budget. So if you have a car note, you probably need to get something a bit more affordable. The bus line. Now, neither of the properties that I just showed you were on the bus line because they were in better communities. And that's something to look. If you're going to be where a bus line is, it's going to be a lot more riffraff. I'm just saying, especially if you're in, like metropolitan areas. That's just how it goes. If that's something that you are comfortable with, then go ahead with that. I grew up like military, kind of suburban like, so it just wasn't something that made me too comfortable. And I don't think that was the time in my life to get over some of those things that were very uncomfortable. But however, like I said, you're going to remain prayerful. You're going to do what the Lord is leading you to do. But I just want to mention that sometimes if you don't have a car, getting near bus line might be something that you actually have to do. So let's not be foolish here. Work. Is it close to your work? That apartment was very close to the place that I had to work. It was very close. My son's school was walking distance. Those were actually walkers who lived in our complex. The kids were walkers to school. So very close. And the grocery stores, gas stations, stuff that I needed as a mother. And I needed it to be like the grocery store and his daycare was in the same parking lot. So it was like boom, boom. You need to make sure that things are accessible like that. I do have a video for you guys that I did a while ago talking more about state assistance programs and things such as that. So I won't elaborate too much here. The next thing I want to show you is the process. I want to show you how do you find apartments that are easy to apply for. Okay, so let's look at that. All right, so full disclaimer here, I'm not your financial advisor or anything like that. I'm just giving you, girl, a little bit of advice here. Okay, so what you want to look for is complexes that do everything online. Okay. And if you can't tell, now I know how to look for it, but it's kind of hard to explain. If you can't tell by the website, usually these websites look like you can click on the apartment, you can click on the exact unit and you can reserve the unit. They give all the pricing. Apartment complexes like this, you can do everything online. This takes away your need to take off from work, which you need your coins, so you don't want to be doing. Take off this. Gets rid of the need for you to take off from work and go up there and sign much of anything. Okay. You don't have to do that. And that would be good. Other apartments that make you like you have to go in, you have to tour, you got to bring money orders and stuff up there like that. I try to stay away from apartments like that. But you can choose them if you would like. Okay. I'm just saying, you want to follow my advice, I will go ahead and do something that's fully automated. Another thing is, you might be saying, well, I got bad rental history. Well, that's unfortunate that you have bad rental history, and we're going to remain prayerful about that as well, because let me tell you that I had bad rental history as well, and none of that stuff showed up by the grace of God. The Lord knew that I was trying to do better with my life. Now, I'm not talking about you continue to just do foul stuff. I'm just saying, I'm not saying continue to do foul stuff and not pay your bills and all of those types of things. Some apartments actually have it to where they have to manually verify your rental history. Now, if you don't have positive rental history, this will be a problem, and I would look for something that's more automated. And another thing with things being automated is some of you don't have bank accounts. You have followed along with the trends of like banks are evil and all this kind of stuff, and you don't realize they might be evil. They do jaded stuff, but this is the world that we live in, and you need to have some things set up to be qualified for certain things. Stop listening to all these backwoods conversations about things that you shouldn't have in this type of world that we live in. You need to have a bank account, and I'm not talking about some prepaid card. You need to have an actual bank account so that you can qualify for some of these things. I have seen apartment complexes do everything online. So like you have to have your ID. Well, if you don't have an ID or a driver's license, we need to get that taken care of. You're not even gonna be able to get an apartment. Okay, it doesn't take long for you to get these things taken care of. You need to get this taken care of. I have seen apartment complexes do everything fully online, even down to verifying like your identification. So just have all your ducks in a row. You know that you need a social security card. You know you need these kids' social security card. Get this stuff in order, girl. I know this is not a video about getting that kind of stuff in order, but come on, like you need to have all this stuff together. But I will say, look for a complex that is, most of the stuff is done online. Okay. You can pay online. Girl, you don't want to be trying to find, I tried to find a place to get a money order the other day and it was like pulling teeth. Okay. Most of the systems was down because nobody's really doing that anymore. So just make sure it's a place that you can pay online. If you need to move around a little money, like you can, girl, if you had to pay it on the credit card, if you had to pay the deposit on the credit card, like make sure it's online. Okay. Make sure it's online. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have a question, if I have more to say, I will elaborate. But as always, if you have a question, ask a question and I will see you in the next video. Girl, let's get these homes in complete order.